Good.
All right, good to go. Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Jaimin, and I think a lot about user experience, like the on-chain user. And this is kind of a test. I'm kind of working on a thesis at the moment about the space in between dApps and wallets. I think it's pretty underexplored, especially the user-facing space. It's an area that I'm building in as well with the company Caddi. And I'd love to treat this as a bit of an open discussion, especially at the end, to see like what kind of use cases you guys could see for on-chain users to improve what they're doing as well. So it's not a particularly long presentation, but you know, if you think about what exists today between dApps and wallets, right? So we have RPCs. These are kind of like back-end components that they route you to private auctions, and they do like front-running protection. They have certain rules. Obviously, MEV blocker, Flashbox protect, Blockstreet. There's a few RPC providers, but the user experience of having to, onboard with one of them kind of sucks. You have to like either do it manually or click a button, which then pops up your MetaMask, and then often you forget about it until you like change networks, and then when you come back, you might change your network RPC to be the regular one. It's a bit confusing. There are some security extensions as well. I don't know if you guys use any like Pocket Universe, Fire, Wallet Guard, but most people are pretty scared about losing their funds, just entering on a phishing website and connecting wallet, signing something malicious, and then boom, your funds are gone. I think, yeah, like a lot of people just don't keep their hot wallet too large. Like I always withdraw to my cold wallet. I have like a lot of fragmented funds all over the place. But what these guys are doing is through extensions, they inject code into the front end of dApps, and they're able to pick up from the object that's sent to your wallet usually what's going on. So they can simulate the transaction. It's kind of in the same way that a wallet would do it, but then they provide specific security guarantees. They look at the contracts, how much is being routed through that contract already, like how long has the contract been live, is it mutable, what's happening, what's going in, what's going out, and they can protect you that way. There's also like some pretty interesting things going on with snaps, but I don't know if any of you guys use snaps at all. Like I think user adoption is pretty low, but at least it's an interesting initiative. So people can build, for people who don't know, it's a kind of open source ecosystem where people can build into MetaMask, except the kind of user experience of this is pretty bad at the moment because you've got a small tab and window which could give you things like transaction insights if you have a transaction insight snap, meaning you can see the transaction in a bit more plain English. There's a few other ones. You can introduce wallets on non-EVM networks. So you can have a Solana wallet. I think Soulflare have one. There's a few others as well. But it's created a developer ecosystem around the wallet, which isn't built by the wallet provider. Then there's also Wallet Connect. I would also argue that they're in between the dApp and the wallet. They connect different wallets. And they just launched Web3 Inbox, which is a notification system. I think dApps have to develop specific notifications for that dApp itself. And then you get hit up by, I think it's a separate Wallet Connect app to say, if you're providing liquidity on PancakeSwap, for example, if your liquidity goes out of range, I think PancakeSwap have built something with Wallet Connect and specific wallets that they'll get a notification so they can reposition their liquidity, they can, change the ranges. But really, like nothing actually changes the transactions. And that's something that we want to kind of do at Caddi. So yeah, front ends, I mean, there's just a huge number of front ends that you can swap on. It's a very congested space. And you're really vying for like brand recognize, and also like brand recognition, I guess, firstly, but also like users. Where do they hang out, right? Uniswap's a bit of a first mover advantage. So they have tons of users who just trust the pink unicorn, right? They're swapping, they're not even getting the best prices when they're doing it. It's way better off to go to 1inch, to basically anywhere else, right? Outside of other DEXs. You could go to Cow, you could go to Llama Swap, you could go to any front end, and you'll probably be getting a better price than Uniswap. Obviously with Uniswap X, things have changed a little bit. So you're getting the intent network, but users are kind of in this decision fatigue. They might check an aggregator, like 1inch. A lot of users we speak to, they check 1inch versus Paraswap versus 0x, and then they tend to choose the one that's the lowest price. But yeah, I mean, even bridging, now it's become like everyone has to bridge, right, to use different dApps now. So your spot for choice, you've got Jumper, Bungee, Stargate, across Orbiter, but how do you even trust like any of these? What user experience is the best? it's really hard to know which chain is supported by each bridge without having to go there and just type in which one. So it's pretty frustrating, this process. And I guess you have the most trusted ones, which are native bridges as well, but even finding them is pretty difficult. So yeah, having to use one wallet kind of sucks for each transaction. You want the benefits that other wallets provide. For example, Rabby is probably the most degen wallet. Like you have transaction simulation, seamless switching of chains, but MetaMask is definitely the most popular. It's such a sticky product, the wallet, that the first thing you use, it's the most comfortable thing that you have. You know, very familiar with the interface. You understand, it connects to every different dApp. It's been, used absolutely everywhere in crypto, so you feel comfortable with it. But there are better wallets out there in terms of user experience. It's just adoption super hard. Like Rabby has 400K users, even though they had DBank and the whole platform before it. They've earned a fair bit of trust from degens, but I don't think that they're going to replace MetaMask anytime soon. That first mover advantage and brand recognition is super powerful. Also, Rainbow and Coinbase, even with Rainbow's point system, they only have like 100 or 200K users, and Coinbase, with all its brand recognition, has like a mil users. So still, MetaMask as an EOA completely dominates. And we want to basically extend the functionality of MetaMask by being between that wallet and different dApps. Yeah, I mean, mention that there's obviously a lock-in, but with snaps you can get more kind of insights, more extensibility through it. So a few things that I think we can add between the dApp and the wallet, and I want to hear you guys' opinion as well. What kind of functionality you'd like to see. But for my thoughts, I think rerouting transactions from the front end, that's super powerful, right? If you're on Uniswap, but you're actually getting the prices of solvers, CowSwap, 1inch, that's very powerful. You could potentially build your own intent network around it and do cows from the front end itself. And this is permissionless to the dApp. So security benefits, I mentioned there were some security extensions, obviously preventing users from going on phishing websites, analyzing the contracts they're signing, making sure there's nothing malicious going on, and adding contextual information as well. So every time you interact with a dApp, right, you're a little bit worried if it's a new one, like, can I trust this website? If there was some contextual information, how many users have used it before you? If someone's left, some comments or even a ranking, that could be helpful. I think, crypto needs a bit of a trust pilot, and no one's going to dApp radar to just check on the dApp that you're using. I know going to the right URL is pretty difficult. I go on Twitter first and then, check that people I know follow that protocol and then click on the dApp. That's probably like the safest way, or you can go to CoinGecko. But adding some context onto the front end itself is going to be super helpful for increasing trust. Beyond that, you can inject smart contracts into dApps without their permission. So that's something that we're working on, and we do with meta aggregation. So these are a few examples of things you can do. So you can add bridging to single chain dApps to make it multi-chain. You can add perps on spot dexes. So you're trading in ERC20, but actually you might want to trade it on like Hyperliquid or Avo. So you can do that with leverage, and notifications as well. So I mentioned, Wallet Connect have their Web3 inbox, but let's say you're trading, a meme coin and you want to set a stop limit or something. This is something you can enable. You can enable notifications about prices. You can do a lot of different things which are for the benefit of the user. So yeah, I'll give you a little demo of the features that we've built within this intersection so far, and I'd love to get your thoughts on what else we could potentially do. So we'll go to the Caddi extension here. So it's up there, and you can swap on Uniswap. So this is where we've built, I guess, the most functionality. You can see that like Caddi's optimizing your page, the swap optimizer that's on, and this is on Arbitrum. So we'll execute like a pretty small transaction, Arbitrum to like USDC or ETH to USDC rather. Let's see if we can get this swap optimized. So yeah, if you're swapping, usually your wallet pops up. But at this point, we've injected some JavaScript to wrap around the transaction object. And we look at the price that you're getting for this particular swap. And we see if we can beat it from our network of, it's like 15 different aggregators, solvers, which will provide different routes. Like, you've probably seen most of these: 1inch, ODOS, Paraswap, Conveyor, Matcha, Socket. And so there's more on mainnet. We've got some solvers as well. But this is when your wallet pops up. and now you sign it and you've just saved a bit of money. It's been routed through 1inch rather than Uniswap itself. So this works on any DEX. So you could swap on LlamaSwap, or you could swap on KyberSwap, whatever you want. You can see here that 1inch v5 has been used instead of Uniswap, even though we were on the Uniswap website. And it depends on liquidity. The savings can be a lot larger. So that was one feature. We also have this comment box. So it's like a troll box per DApp. So people are talking about Uniswap limit orders. Actually, I didn't even know you could use limit orders. I think it's a pretty recent thing. So I don't know how to do that. But yeah, I mean, this is specific to every DApp. So you just have a bit of context. And it's all linked to social information. So like obviously I've commented a few times here. We've got a few people, this guy he's commented and he's linked his profile, but he's, yeah, maybe he's someone worth knowing, maybe not, but you have now a bit more context when you're using every DApp. So yeah, that's kind of what we're doing, building between DApps and wallets.